In this video, I want to talk to you about the Janome Sewist 721. The 721 is a great beginner machine, backup machine, classroom machine. It's a super utility machine. It's mechanical. There's no computer board on the machine to have to worry about pulling up stitches. It has a good selection of stitches on it. It's going to have 19 of the most popular stitches on the machine and the 4-step buttonhole. The machine will have the horizontal spool pin. You do have a place for the vertical spool pin, so if you want to do twin needle sewing, you can have 2 threads going at one time. It does have the top winding bobbin on it. Threading is a breeze on the 721. Everything's going to be channeled for me all the way down to my needle. I also have the built-in needle threader here to thread that needle for me. On the front of the machine, it's really easy for me to see my stitches, and everything has letters in front of them. If you'll notice, we have A through J here on my pattern selector dial. If I want to do that particular stitch, makes it real easy. I just dial up the stitch I want. Here is my stitch length setting, and here is the ability to adjust my stitch width. Now the 721 can go up to a 5mm on our stitch width, and it can go up to 4mm on the stitch length. So you can play with that and get it set to your liking for the sewing application that you're doing. You also have another row of stitches here called stretch stitches. You'll notice on our pattern selector dial here, I can turn the stitch knob to SS, which stands for stretch stitch. This is a great feature to have if you're working with knits, any type of stretch material, because what it's going to do, if I have my stitch selector on A, which is going to be our straight stitch, I can move that needle over as well if I'm putting in a zipper or something like that. But it's going to sew 2 stitches forward and 1 reverse, automatically back tacking that stitch for me. That's a great feature to have on a machine, because what's going to happen is reinforcing that stitch, it's locking it in, and you'll rip the fabric before those stitches will tear out. That's super nice. 721 has a great variety of stitches on it. I've got straight stitch. Now I can move my needle, and that's critical. A lot of manufacturers overlook. If we're putting in zippers, cording, piping, if we need to get up close to something, at that point I'm able to move my needle over. I can have the machine on straight stitch, and then as I move my width button, it moves my needle over. So I need to get a certain seam allowance or get right up close to something, I'm able to do that with no problem whatsoever. You don't get that on every type of machine on the market, but Janome has you covered with the 721. I've got zigzag, and I can adjust that width and the length on all these sewing patterns. I've got elastic stitches. I've got stretch blind hems with sharp tacks. I've got blunt end blind hems. I have a couple of decorative stitches. Then as I go to the area in black here, these are my stretch stitches. And what it is, inside the machine is a cam stack. There's a stitch finger running across that cam stack that helps form our stitches. So as I move this machine over to stretch stitch, here I've got my straight stitch, but it's actually sewing 2 stitches forward and 1 reverse. It's going to automatically back tack that stitch. You have the double zigzag, or it used to be known as rick rack. Used to go by rick rack and sew it on by hand. This is built into the machine. You have another decorative feature called a smocking stitch. We also will have serger stitches built in. Now the machine doesn't trim the fabric like a serger, but it has those overlocking stitches. So if you're needing to do an edge on a garment to keep it from unraveling, you have standard serger stitches. I also have a blanket stitch here, and I have a double overlock here, and then I have a couple other decorative stitches on the machine. Tension system is very easy on the 721. It's not automatic, but the way Janome makes their tension systems on their mechanical machines, you're rarely going to have to adjust it. Basically between setting 4 and 5, 99% of the materials that's on the market, you're going to have perfect tension with no problem whatsoever. Now the machine will have the top drop-in bobbin system on it. We can see our bobbin at any given time, and it's equally as easy to thread as the machine. Because it's top drop-in bobbin, you're going to have less jamming. We're going to be able to see our bobbin and see how much bobbin thread we have left. And on my needle plates, I have different markings for getting certain seam allowances. There is a place on the machine that I can actually screw down a metal seam gauge. And Ken Sewing Center will carry all the optional accessories for the 721. We carry all parts, all presser feet, everything you can think of that's made for it. I like how you have the extra high lift under the presser foot, so if I'm working with thicker materials, I can get that under the presser foot with no problem whatsoever. It does have the 4-point feed dog system on it. My feed dogs are very long, and it's actually touching my fabric in 4 different places. So for lighter weight material, the likelihood of your material puckering is greatly improved with the 721 because it keeps that fabric flat as needle penetrating the garment. For your heavier materials, it's going to actually grab the whole area there in 4 places and feeding that heavier material through. The machine does have a very robust motor in it. It can easily handle 8 layers of denim with no problem whatsoever, and then you can back down and go into sheer materials. It will come with the electronic foot control. So just like the gas pedal in your car, the harder you press it, the faster it goes. Same way with the 721. It can go over 800 stitches per minute. We'll have a reverse for doing my back tacks, and it does have the removable accessory tray on. I do like how the accessory tray actually opens toward you so I can see what I'm wanting to get to and then keep all my accessories stored in the machine. But as I remove that accessory tray, it exposes my free arm. So if you're hemming pant legs or shirt sleeves, you can do that. On the back side of the machine, there is a lever that allows me to drop my feed dog. So if you're wanting to put in, say, darn a hole in a pair of denim blue jeans or sew on buttons, or if you're into quilting and want to do free motion quilting, you can do that with the 721. Just drop the feed dogs, get the correct foot, and you're ready to go. Here I've got a standard denim for any kind of blue jeans that you see in any department store. I'm going to sew 8 layers of denim here. So I've got my extra high lift under my presser foot, and I can get that fabric underneath. I'm going to go to a standard straight stitch and show you the power and the beauty of a top drop in bobbin, because you can crawl down onto material without worrying about compromising my tension. And going from heavy denim to a lighter weight material, I'm not going to have to worry about adjusting my tension. You can handle that with no problem whatsoever. It's going to crawl down onto this cotton. Then I'm going to put stretch material. Get to the end of my seam, I can do that back tack. And on my face plate, I got a little razor over here that I can rake that thread across. So I went from extremely heavy to a cotton to a stretch material with no problem whatsoever. There's no puckering in that garment. Ken Sewing Center is your authorized Janome dealer. We carry all parts and all accessories for the 721, and we carry every Janome model. We can compare 721 to any other machine within the Janome line and help you find the right machine for you. With any purchase of a machine from Ken Sewing, you get our premium support package. We're going to be here to help you for the life you own your machine. I have 5 full-time technicians here to help you 6 days a week, and several educators answer any question you may have about the 721. There's more information on our website. Feel free to check it out or give us a call anytime. We'll be glad to help you.